Hey PC gamers, and welcome back to the PC Gamer Chat Log. I am Lauren Morton.
And hey everyone, I'm Mollie Taylor.
This week, Mollie and I are bringing on Ted Litchfield to talk about zombies in games. Yeah. Why aren't they dead yet? Why are zombies eternal? Zombies in games have been here for years and years and years, and
a long time.
We're like seemingly not tired of them, I guess. I don't know. I'm like a little tired of them. Some people are tired of them. But then a game with zombie hordes comes out and we're like, you know what? Makes for a great FPS campaign or like a great co-op mission-based wave thing. And everybody's like, never mind. Zombies are okay. It's fine. We're not tired. So we're going to talk about that. What makes them good? What makes them bad? All that great stuff. 'Tis the season.
'Tis the season.
But before we do that, Mollie, what have you been playing?
So I 100%ed Metaphor Fantasio.
Oh, nice.
I did it.
What's the hour count?
100 and okay, my save file itself came out to like 133
oh my god
hours. Yeah, that was like 100 hours. There's like 101 hours on the first playthrough and then like 32 hours on the second playthrough. So that was like skipping.
Is it like a new game plus or?
Yeah, so that was like skipping all of the cutscenes, but I still did all of the side quests and all of that kind of stuff. And I did like a little bit of grinding as well. But my actual like Steam play count, because I was like reloading save files a lot in my first save for like different reasons. So like overall it came out about 58 hours in the end, which, you know, pretty good. I feel pretty satisfied like putting that game away now and being like, fuck yes, I did everything. So I finally did that. And then I'm also playing a game that I forgot to see if I can talk about. So we will say no for now, but I am pretty sure. I'm pretty sure the review embargo is today. If it's not, then but if it is, you can go on to pcgamer.com and see what I've been writing, and it will be there. Oh, I was also playing The Sims 4.
Oh, that's right. You were. Tell me about that, because I've been wrapped up in other things.
Yeah, I was playing Life and Death, the new expansion, which, okay, you all know. The viewer, you, the listener, you, Lauren, y'all know that y'all know that I'm a little bit of a hater. Yeah, like, you guys know that I have. I've been a little tough on The Sims as a whole. As a Sims lover, a Sims enjoyer, I've been a little tough on the series. Honestly, deserved. That being said, I really like Life and Death.
Nice.
The way that the previews work now, they never used to work this way, but the way that the Sims previews work now, right, you know this, Lauren, is that it's just the expansion plus the base game. Yeah. So how Life and Death will operate with all of the other like packs that I own is something that I can't speak to right now. Yeah. But when we're just talking base game and Life and Death, I had a really good time. The new career is really fun. Like the active job part of it is really fun. I find that some of the active jobs aren't like super fun to play. But the Reaper career is super fun to play. It has that like Sims humor that I've kind of missed, that I feel like isn't always there in The Sims 4. Like, I don't know, I feel like that kind of more classic Sims humor is there, where like you're a Reaper, your job is to like get souls from the deceased, but you start in an office. Like you have to go to an office and you like order office supplies, and they have like little test dummies that you like practice the reaping on, and I think that's really fun. And there's the Afterlife Anonymous, where like ghosts go and gather, and there's food, there's a spread, and there's a podium, and it's just really fun little things like that I, having kind of taken a break from The Sims, kind of getting exhausted with it, coming back, that's some stuff that I've really missed, is just those very silly Sims vibes. But yeah, I'm having a great time, and as like a spooky enjoyer, I really like the creator sim stuff. I really like the build by stuff. The build by stuff especially, like I'm a really big fan of.
Yeah, I haven't
So
looked
yeah,
closely at it yet. I'm excited for that part.
it's nice. So yeah, I've been having like a really good time with it. The pack isn't out. I think it's out today actually. I think
Yes,
it's
it
out.
is. Mm-hmm.
It's out literally today. So I'm looking forward to seeing how life and death interacts with my other packs.
All the other things in the
With
game, which is
all the other
where
things.
the problems happen. So
Yes, which is where things tend to go
you have seen
sideways.
it in the most like scientifically controlled environment thus far. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll see. But I did say in my preview, which you can go and read, I did say in my preview that like it's basically the polar opposite of how I felt about my wedding stories. I came away from my wedding stories feeling very, very like burnt and annoyed with it. And I feel like the two do similar things, right? They take a very basic base game concept.
Life experience and like
expand on it and make it a more like interactable experience. And where my wedding stories like really pissed me off, I feel like life and death is a lot more enjoyable. Like personally, I haven't messed around too much with like the funeral stuff yet, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I'm having a better time with it.
I was amused by the fact that, speaking of like interactions with other packs, you can have animals, you can have pets as ghosts, and including like horses from the ranch pack. And I was like, I want a family of some person who is just haunted by the ghost of like 7 cats. Like it's just a family of 1 live person and 7 deceased cats, like
7
playable ghost cats. Like I want to do some like silly stuff with that pack. So
it's gonna be great. It might actually, it feels like it's gonna actually get the game back in my good graces. So
nice.
Yay.
I have also been playing something that came out today, and I will try not to talk at length because there's going to be so much writing on the website about Dragon Age the Veilguard from myself and other members of the team who are playing it. Of course, as we know, I and others on this team, major Dragon Age fans. We have so many Dragon Age fans on the team. Different people will have different feelings about this new game. Like I said, I don't want to like say too much because I've just ejected all of my thoughts about it onto a page, and I have more yet to do between now and when people hear this. But as I said when I played the preview, I actually really love the pivot to action combat. I did not want it. I still wish it wasn't that way, but it is fun and I like it. It's great. I love being a rogue and like parrying stuff. I'm parrying like darkspawn ogres, and then I'm like doing my ultimate ability, and it's silly that a Dragon Age game has an ultimate ability, but man, it's fun. I toss down like all these grenades on the ground and just stuff, and it's great. There's you can use the environment to like do some like plunging attacks. Like they really nailed that part. I truly enjoy it. The characters I find likable, maybe not lovable. I think they don't have enough flaws. I think this is the thing that we see in a lot of media generally right now is people wanting these like scientifically distilled likable characters, and they forget to make them a little bit unlikable because frankly, making characters that are very likable and a little bit unlikable is what makes them together like lovable. That's what makes a well-rounded, interesting, like debatable person that people want to sink their teeth into. And I think these characters fall into that, like, oh no, they're too likable. They're just good people who like they have flaws, but not like ones that make them, you know.
Their flaw is like they hate cheese or something. Yeah.
Their flaw is like, oh no, like I blame myself for mistakes that I make. And you're like, okay, but the flaws of like really good characters are like, you know, I have really bad opinions about this one topic, like, and we're gonna fight about it. Like that's what makes it great character. So combat characters, I have many thoughts and critiques about the storytelling overall and how effective that is based on the kind of plot they've done. And again, it comes down to like the moral quandaries that Dragon Age games and other BioWare games like Mass Effect usually give you. And I think what this game is willing to do for you and make you like wrestle with, which is less. It kind of, anyway, that's all going to be in my review. You can read it. It's on the website already. It has been for a couple days. And there's going to be more writing about the game, all sorts of stuff going forward, because like this team, there are many Dragon Age fans out there in our readership too. So
there will be many opinions.
So many opinions, so much to talk about. And I think that's my final like line of my review, I believe. And my final thought is like, I was afraid this game would come out and it would be so scientifically distilled that it would be boring. I would be apathetic about it, and I would just wish that it didn't exist. And that's not what happened. It's a game that I feel like having debates about, a game that I feel like critiquing. And despite wanting to critique it, that is so much better than like apathy. It's like something I want to talk about. So as with other Dragon Age games, there are Dragon Age 2 defenders. I'm one of them. There will be Dragon Age the Veilguard defenders. And that means
I feel like having a negative opinion or a positive opinion is better than having no opinion, right? Exactly. I feel like having no opinion on something is the worst.
That is awful.
It's the worst outcome for a piece of media to come out and no one has a thought or an opinion on it. But there have been discussions about the game among the players in our Slack channel.
Oh, relentless conversations.
Single day.
Every fan of this game is just back and forth constantly every day. Yes.
Having something. I went to go make a coffee the other day.
And there was like 100 messages from Harvey.
I came back to over 100 messages of like 3 of our PC Gamer writers talking about the Veilguard. So, you know, having an opinion is the best thing that I think a game can do, rather than having no opinion. So
yep, that's how I'm feeling about it. Longer form stuff on the website. Anyway, let's go grab Ted and talk about zombies. Okay, Ted, thank you for joining us to talk about zombies, because I have wanted to talk about zombies for a while, because we've had zombies in video games for so long. The zombie trend will never die. It just as, you know, as zombies do, it has shambled along for years upon years upon years. Like, what do you guys remember? Like, do you have a memory that you're like, oh, zombies are popular now? Do you remember having that feeling in gaming like years and years ago? Like, was there a game that did that for you? That was like, oh, everybody's making a zombie game now.
That's a really good question. I remember not my first exposure, but I remember like Dead Rising coming out. And me thinking like, oh, this game is kind of cool. And then I just remember after Dead Rising just noticing more and more and more like zombie themed games. And like I was in school when Black Ops came out. Like I was in high school. Zombies was like fucking huge, right? Everyone played zombies. I played zombies. I don't play COD. I ain't never played a COD in my life. I played zombies. But it was around like, probably like the late 2000s into the early 2010s for me personally when I started noticing it.
What about you, Ted?
I have,
Did you have
one of those horrible, distinct ice pick in your brain memories of watching Machinima, somebody made in Gary's mod about Max Brooks's zombie survival guide. This had to be circa like 06, 07. And I was like, wow, this is so cool. There's so many cool things on the internet. And it was all just, that kind of set the tone for the next 15 years.
Yeah, it really has been at least that long. Like you said, Molly, I started like looking back into zombie games history just a little bit. People credit like something called Entombed on the Atari 2600 in 82 as like maybe the first zombie game. And then not long after that was like the original The Evil Dead in 84 on the Commodore 64. So those are like the origins of like zombie games approximately. And then I think the two like origin series that people still associate heavily with zombies came a little bit after that with Doom in 93, which do people associate Doom with zombies? I think of it as like demons, but I don't know. I guess it also includes zombies. In 93,
like that's going to be like a returning topic of conversation for us is like zombies in something versus like the zombie fantasy of like the prepper stuff that got big, you know?
Yeah. The other big one was Resident Evil in 96. And like, obviously everybody still associates Resident Evil with with all of that. And then I think the inflection point, like Mollie said, is like that late 2000s, early 2010s, because that's when you get Left 4 Dead, you get zombies in Call of Duty, you get Red Dead Redemption Undead Nightmare, the expansion, you get Minecraft, and you get Dead Island. I think, and Dead Rising as well. I think Dead Island for me was the point where I was like, oh, another zombie game. Like, I think that was the point at which I was like, okay, another one of these. And that was in the very, still like mission-based, story-based era of zombies, before we got into the like 2 new Brave New World modes of zombies, where you've got story mode zombies in like The Last of Us, and that very particular vision of like zombie fiction. And then you get like DayZ and the like mill sim survival game PvP ass zombie stuff, and those like diverged but remained both like 2 very big zombie avenues, it felt like. And now we've had zombies since then, forever, basically. Yeah, I feel like everybody's played so many zombie games. Why are they so popular? Why do we love them?
Do we love them? I don't know if I love them, but
the population at large must love them. Something
but I
is
have
happening.
played many. Yeah, I have played more zombie games than I care to admit, and I think it's kind of the power fantasy, right? I think in a lot of media, zombies, they're like slow, they're kind of stupid, right? They're like kind of hobbling along. They've got that like perfect harmony, I think, of being spooky and still posing a threat while also being kind of stupid enough that you feel better than them when you're like stomping their heads in, right? So it's that power fantasy of like kind of like shitting on someone like less than you, I guess. I don't know, like being some strong dude bro, like taking on a bunch of like weak, like brain rotted fleshlings. Like, I don't know, yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to be too psycho, big brain conspiracy about it, but it is. I think you're onto something, Molly. Of it's like, I mean, at least by the way people drive and act in stores, like that is kind of maybe how at least many Americans view their fellow citizens, and so it is that like fantasy of this world you recognize, where all those NPCs get turned into, the what you distrust them or think they're going to do anyway, as a gun-toting American. And then it's like this beautiful world we recognize gets turned into a free fire zone playground, right? It's like you look at like Day of the Dead, I think it was like 85, and that was like the first movie where it was like they were defending the mall, and that is like a horrific, like very vile, very unsettling film. But that's like, it feels like a certain generation of like, especially like Gen X, like guys making video games and movies looked at that and it's like, fuck yeah, I would love to have a mall all to myself in a gun. Right? And it's like, we have paid the price ever since.
It is definitely that like anonymized, like we in video games, like especially FPS games or third-person shooter games, any of those things, that like they're propped up by the waves of enemies. Like you just have to keep shooting at stuff, right? And your list of things where you can infinitely shoot at them, without any distracting morals or quandaries. Like, I mean, if you're James Bond, you have to be shooting enemy agents. And I've played like James Bond games as a kid, and like Alien games, I guess, but I don't feel like we get aliens as like highly repeatable enemies in games. Weirdly enough, often enough, like why didn't like green dudes? Why didn't samey looking green dudes ever take off?
I was thinking on this, right? Why are aliens in so many video games kind of lame? Like,
yeah, they're like a whole society and they're just people. And like, what about aliens who I can just shoot? Forever, like zombies. Why did we never got?
Maybe it's because like aliens are meant to be smart, right? Like you think about, like, you look at Alien Isolation, which is like a game with a very scary alien singular,
just
one super smart, super scary alien. You've got like I think Saints Row 4, that was like, you would get hordes of aliens, but that's fucking Saints Row 4. Like, I don't think anyone in Saints Row 4 is particularly intelligent. Like, maybe it is that like aliens are meant to be smart, whereas zombies are like meant to be dumb. Maybe I think a horde of aliens would easily outsmart one protagonist. I don't know.
Not the
That's
Master Chief, John 117, Petty Officer, the
Oh
hero
yeah,
of
what about
humanity.
Halo?
But Halo then also has alien zombies. We've got the thesis, the antithesis, and then the synthesis with the flood. It's alien zombies.
You're kind of right, Mollie. Oh, go ahead, Ted.
I just had a thought, like going back to like having an excuse to mow down people without feeling guilty about it, right? It's like
without them being people. Yeah,
exactly. Or like people. you need like orcs and goblins and kobolds, you know. We're going crazy. You need the video game adventure needs a subaltern species of critter to exterminate and not feel bad about. I always think about that with Cyberpunk 2077, and it's like your average day in the life of, I love that game so much, but if you don't do like a non-lethal playthrough, like your average day in the life of V is like more people die by V's hand than like in an active war zone on any given day of Cyberpunk 2077. And it's like, even for like Crime City USA, it's like, oh my God, like the mass murder I just committed would be even in like America today with like social media and like a very like divided like media environment, like the amount of death I just inflicted would be a news cycle for at least a week. Like, what's going on here?
So you've got to have faceless, nameless mobs, basically, that are just scary enough to, like Mollie said, they're like just scary enough but not too scary. And I guess you're right about aliens, that like if they show up on Earth, then they've got to be smart enough to have gotten there. So probably they're too scary to be your Dynasty Warriors ass mobs that you can just
because I was literally thinking like zombies are like the Dynasty Warriors of the Western world.
Yes, they are. Why have we not got the Dynasty Warriors?
Yeah, it is the Dynasty Warriors of like post-apocalyptic America. That is what zombies are. I'm so glad you said that. I was thinking
what does it say about us that like China has like, you know, these ancient heroes of folklore and myth and literary traditions, and we've got like, what if everybody around me was stinky so I got to shoot them?
What if I was the only one left? That's our mythology, guys. Yeah, it really is Dynasty Warriors. It's just, everybody, you know, there's something satisfying about the I don't know, I'm trying to not say an absolutely unhinged thing and use the word mowing because I don't like where that goes. But when we're talking about a video game, just you know, eradicating, getting rid of, clearing the map, doing all
those
of that.
Those are better
there's
than mowing.
Satisfying. Yeah. Clearing the map.
Eradicating.
Yep. Look, they're zombies. And that's the point. That's why we like them, I think, is because they're allowed to be eradicated because they're zombies. What about like, I was thinking about like very literal zombies games, like games with like the risen undead, where you get bit and you turn into them. But we have so many other games that are chock full of zombie like adjacent things. Like the first one that comes to mind is Fallout. All of the ghouls in Fallout, right, are like levels of zombies. By the time you get to being like feral, you're just like a downright actual zombie. You look like a zombie. You kind of can't really be killed.
But until then, deal, like, you're a cool, sexy, fun cowboy guy that everybody wants to be.
You are.
The only series with sexy zombies. Truly, it's Fallout.
Holy shit.
That's another frontier we haven't explored is the sexy zombie.
Me. What is that? Oh my God, there was a movie. I forget what it's called. Warm Bodies. There we go. Warm Bodies had a sexy zombie in it. Thank you very much.
Okay, all right.
Where
are the zombie Atome games?
The second thing to ever have sexy zombies in it.
What other series have like not zombies in them?
Oh my God, don't do this to me.
I mean, I thought like before we started talking immediately, because I just finished, not to toot my own horn, I beat Baldur's Gate 3 on honor mode recently, but
oh nice.
There's zombies in Baldur's Gate. There's zombies in D&D, like, and they're, you know, it's I feel like zombies are like a very good, very convenient filler. Even if your thing is not about zombies, it's like I'll throw in some zombies there. It's like you were saying with Doom at the beginning. It's like they can fit anywhere. The living dead, the creatures of the night. They can they've got a place here.
Which game are Zeds from? Which one is that?
That feels like such a like late 2000s thing to have like a game or a movie where it's like, oh, we got Zeds coming in, breach and clear, eliminate.
I am not getting the results from Google that I want from this search. I swear.
What the hell is a Zed?
What? That's a thing. It's from some series. I swear to you.
That's like, I feel like that is like, that feels like world
light?
building. capital B, like, oh, NATO is responding to zombies, and so like they call them. They've got tangos, they've got Zeds, they've got whatever.
In Dying Light, they're called the Infected. Someone calls them Zeds though. And also, doesn't Dying Light have a whole thing about how like they're not zombies, they're the Infected, and you're like, okay, but they're zombies though. I'm pretty sure that's
I didn't play Dying Light. I was kind of done with the zombie thing by the time Dying Light came out. Yeah, like, I don't know. Like,
that's what I wanted to know. Are we done with zombies? Are we ready for them to go away?
I'm done with zombies.
I've never loved zombies. I've like enjoyed the setting that they've been in, right? Like Dead Island, I liked the concept behind that. I didn't particularly enjoy the zombie aspect of it more so than enjoying like the other aspects of it, if that makes sense. And like with Dead Rising as well, it was like not so much the zombies as it was like, I think you're in a mall in Dead Rising, or you are at one point in Dead Rising, you're in a mall. And I kind of liked that, again, like just being in a mall with a chainsaw, just like zipping through some undead heads. And like Lollipop Chainsaw as well, which I'm a huge fan of. I love that game. Again, it's not really the zombie part. It's like the setting and being in a high school and like being a cheerleader, and your boyfriend, you had to cut off his head so that he didn't become a zombie, and now he's just like attached to you. Like, it's stuff like that that I like. And the zombies for me are more like set dressing. I don't know, but I feel like there's more interesting things to mow down.
What about you, Ted? Are you done with zombies?
I think that's exactly it. Like, I think like zombies are like they're salt and pepper. They're like a little thing of ketchup at the table, right? Like, you can kind of toss them in anything; they'll go with anything.
On anything.
But I feel like the age of like the zombie prepper fantasy is like, that is a discrete thing we're looking back on now, and like there are the things that are still kind of keeping forward, like not Left 4 Dead, Last of Us, or Daisy, but like you're not seeing like new zombie survival guides or new World War Z's or stuff like that, and it's certainly not like a going concern with movies anymore. So I think like anything in like pop culture, like that specific fantasy is like will recur kind of as everything does, but I feel like that big zombie moment at the end of the 2000s is like firmly in the rearview mirror.
Yeah. They've just kind of been shambling along since then, right?
They are
like,
shambling along.
They just occasionally show up in games, kind of. I don't know.
Yeah, like I think what The Last of Us does, maybe, I think a lot of games do this, but I think what The Last of Us does particularly well is kind of deviating from zombies. And it's something I liked about World War Z, the movie, as well, was like in that movie, instead of them being kind of those shambling, limping kind of creeps, they're like very fast in World War Z. I think it is that movie where they're like scary fucking fast. You put some speed on a zombie and they're terrifying. They suddenly become like so much more scary. And that's kind of what I like about The Last of Us, even though I didn't really click with the game, but something that I think it does well is its zombie designs. And, you know, they go from something that is just kind of like fodder to becoming like more serious, scary threats. Like, I think the clickers is like one that people think about first, right? Of just being like terrifying beings. And I kind of like that they deviated slightly from like what a traditional zombie is and did something interesting with it.
Yeah, I do like, as you're talking about The Last of Us, and that's kind of what I said, is like there's those two paths of zombies. Like Ted's talking about like the end of the world prepper fantasy of zombies versus the very narrative take on zombies, and the survival game zombies we're not seeing as much of anymore. I think we're seeing still like the FPS shooter campaign that includes zombies, but less survival games with zombies. I think our survival games are trending off into like other settings a lot more than they used to. But The Last of Us and other things like that remain the space where it's always not like even about the zombies. It's about like the people, right? And those games are always about like the ethical quandaries of they love to pull the what if someone you love gets bitten and what do you do about it? Like how far are you willing to go? Like that's a common emotional decision that involves
I would hide that I
that
got bit
story.
until the very last second. I'd be like, nah, there's going to be a cure for me. And
You're the worst.
I'd make everybody.
You're the guy, Ted.
I'm over here like
worst.
looking like super pale. I've got like black veins under my skin, and it's like, oh,
Okay, guys.
little peaky allergy season.
I'm fine. No, I would definitely be the person that immediately like crumbles and admits that I got bit.
Just do it before it gets worse.
Yeah.
I'm looking now at the Steam like top 100 wish list because I feel like I started having this thought when we had that conversation on a different episode earlier, Mollie, about
what you're saying.
the top wish lists. And I was like, there are still zombies in here. Like maybe not as much as I would have expected there to be, like there used to be. But I'm getting down to like past the top like 20. I'm not really seeing zombies, but then you get down to like Dying Light the Beast, which that, as we established, that's the infected.
Isn't there this game The Day Before I've heard a lot about that was big on Steam wishlist with zombies?
Oh, speaking of survival games that include zombies, are you playing The Day Before, Ted?
Oh God. Can you? I thought it's like fully it's abandonware now, right? Or if you bought it, can you still keep it?
I don't think so. I think
I
they
don't remember
removed
the
that
exact situation.
I think
defeat for game preservation.
Yeah, such a loss.
There's No More Helen 2 is on here, which
I think Jake was playing that. He really liked it.
Yeah, and Jake was also playing Killing Floor 3. Jake may actually be our resident still zombie enjoyer because they're still in the FPS campaigns more than
Jake loves a good FPS.
Exactly. Yeah.
You dragged the wrong guy in here today.
No, it's okay. We still want your thoughts about them.
I do have a zombie game that I found, a game with zombies that I found very interesting to derail a conversation with really quick.
Please do.
Yeah.
There's this indie RPG. We're going full sicko mode. Dread Delusion that released out of early access this year. I quite like it. I haven't played it in 1.0 yet, but part of it's like a mini Elder Scrolls. You're on. It's like a medieval society on asteroids floating around a small red star. And one of the societies you go to in like this little open world is a zombie society. And the zombies in Dread Delusion are kind of like Fallout ghouls in that they are decaying, but they are fully sentient. But their only sustenance is human flesh. And so that was obviously an issue in the past. But it results in like one of like my pound for pound favorite RPG quests is they have invented impossible meat, basically. Like they have
vegan zombies?
They have their human flesh farms, but there is a phenomenal quest where you realize that the human flesh like mass that they farm from has developed its own sentience. And so like that is one of like the few times in a game where I have genuinely like not known like an ethical quandary by the end of it, because it's like if the zombies can't keep farming their flesh, they will go to war with the living, but if they do continue farming their flesh, there is a living thing that is going to be eternally suffering for it. It's like the It's like that Le Guin novel that I'm forgetting the name of, so this is a less smart reference, but like the child being tortured for the city.
We're halfway there. I'm looking at this Dread Delusion. This is the most Ted Sicko game I've ever seen. Probably that PS1 crunchy ass aesthetic,
really
like low
really
poly
good.
models. That's Ted all the way through.
I love like the concept of like civilized zombies though. There's a whole friggin' TV show about it. I forget. It's called iZombie. It's like the woman is a zombie, but she's trying to be like ethical about it. She gets turned into a zombie. I used to watch the shit out of this. I used to absolutely friggin' love this show when I was like in like college. I think it was when it was out. It was when I was in college. But yeah, she like gets turned into a zombie, but she works in a morgue. So she basically like, so she
ethical
is like trying to like ethically like sustain herself through like dead bodies basically. Okay, I remember it being a good show, at least like the first couple seasons. I don't know how it ended because I stopped watching it, but yeah, ethical zombie stuff I find really, really interesting. Again, like stuff that just deviates from that like blank canvas whack-a-mole kind of style of zombie design. I really love concepts that kind of do away with that and think, oh, what if instead zombies were like this or they were like that? And like the kind of ethical like civilized zombie stuff I find really interesting. I wish more games would do stuff with that.
Yeah, like if we're gonna keep zombies, let us be the zombies. That needs to be the new trend for zombies.
So
like I'm now remembering that not too long ago, Fallout 76, the online Fallout game, will let you play as a ghoul now. That's like a new thing they've done, and I don't have any more information. I read Ellie's news story about it at the time, and then I have forgotten everything about it, but I'm pretty sure you can be a ghoul now in 76. And I'm like, okay, all right. Could we do that with like the next mainline Fallout game?
That'd be
come on,
sick as
Bethesda,
hell.
Do something really weird. Don't let me be a vault dweller anymore. Or if you do,
I don't
let
want
me
to
be a
from
vault dweller who's
vault
been
again.
ghoulified. Yeah,
Okay,
Don't
now
make me
we're
some
talking.
stupid vault nerd.
let me be a ghoul. Yes, like give me a backstory. I've been alive for 200 years, and
That'd be sick. That would be cool. It's like we get to play as vampires sometimes. It's the same concept, except instead of blood, we just need like flesh.
Mollie, I was thinking about that. Like what you were talking about there reminded me of like it's much more of a common trope or thing you see in games and fiction of like the vampire society, like Vampire the Masquerade, or you get that in Twilight, or Interview with the Vampire. It's like they've always, they always like talk in Latin, and they've been around for forever, and they've got
culture.
their secret rules, and they have to hide, and like that. Like I feel like it's very fun to apply that to zombies because like we were talking earlier about sexy zombies. There aren't sexy zombies. Like vampires are sexy. Like there's a power fantasy involved. Being a zombie would fucking suck, and like it is purely
you're ugly
like
and you smell bad.
You're not getting like these Asterian fan cams if you're a zombie. So like I think there's something
as
really
you
cool
said,
to
Ted. Though there were fan cams for the ghoul, man.
I always forget about the ghoul.
It can be done.
But
I don't know. I want to play like a really smelly, ugly zombie that everyone hates and no one wants to be around. And I'm just like trying to live like a normal life. And I don't want to eat people because it makes me feel bad. But also, everyone hates me because I don't look good. I don't
Cozy
smell
Life Sim
good.
zombie game.
Yeah, where everyone fucking hates you.
Sorry, Ted. Go ahead.
Something Larian's done a little bit though. Like you could be the undead in Original Sin 2. Like I thought that was like really fun and like kind of tripping on that fantasy. And then there's a quest in Act 3 of Baldur's Gate 3 with like a bunch of zombies who are basically like unionizing and trying to get rid of their necromancer overlord. And they're great. They're funny beautiful. And like really sweet little zombie guys. And it's like, how could the necromancer overlord is also very cool. He's like a freaky, nasty mummy guy, but I mean, you got to side with the little zombie guys every time. They're just trying to make, they didn't ask to be zombies.
Exactly. You got to bring down Tenpenny Tower. I like what you're saying about like zombie society, though. I do want that. I do want zombie society, zombie culture. Do it. I dare you. Make them sexy.
Zombie
People,
culture.
Everybody is looking to be a freak now, okay? People will be into it. They will be into hot zombies if you give them enough hot zombies. I believe in it. Okay, in a world where the zombie trend does die, what do we want instead of that? Because that's what like birthed this for me originally. And now that we've had this discussion in the direction we've had it, my answer is stupid. So I have to think about a different one. But
I think your answer's stupid.
I was thinking at it from the angle of like a theme and a dress up thing that we return to over and over and over and over again. We're like, okay, zombies, little guys, stick them in everything. Get a game, like Ted said, salt and pepper the zombies on. And what I want instead of zombies is I want pirates to be in, which that's not a 1-for-1 replacement. You can't, pirates aren't the same as zombies. They're not hordes that you can fight forever. But I want the new thematic dress up trend of salt and peppering just pirates onto everything. Put pirates in everything.
Yeah.
Do space pirates. Do historical pirates. Do whatever you want. Just more pirates. I like the idea. Do pirates in Yakuza. Maybe
They're
do
doing
that. That's a free idea. I know.
Yeah, Queen, they're doing it.
Someone should do that.
I'm so sorry. You had a phenomenal deadpan there, and I was like, hold
Lauren,
on
I hate
just
to
a
tell
minute.
you.
Person who
hold your
knows
hand when I tell
Yakuza, PhD in Yakuza. Wait, I'm sorry. Did you know that they're already doing that?
They are making Majimagoro a pirate. His final form, truly born, leather and all, leather pants. He's perfect.
Did they do zombies in Yakuza?
There is a weird spin-off that it's very hard to play. Yakuza, I'm wanting to call it Dead Rising
Souls?
now because yes, something like
Dead
that.
Souls rings a
I
bell.
forget its name. Yakuza zombies. Hold on, we're gonna Google it. It is Dead Souls. Thank you, Ted.
Nice.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is known to be weird, jank, hard to get your hands on. I don't think it's ever been localized, if I remember correctly. I think you have to like find a fan translation for it. So I only know like a few things about Dead Souls. I know some of the weird scenes that show up in Dead Souls that people like to share around, but that's about it. But yes, Yakuza has in fact done zombies.
I've only played Yakuza 0, so whenever I like look over and it's like Majima's a pirate now, or Ichiban is like naked on a beach, I'm like, I'm happy for you guys. That's fun.
Whatever this is great.
Yakuza for me remains like a noir melodrama about like these really angry guys in the 80s. I haven't seen the rest of it.
That's the premiere Yakuza experience. Okay, what instead of zombies? That's my dumb answer. Is I would like pirates, which are not a direct replacement for zombies at all. But
it's the age of the orc,
like this is the
Tuscan
Oh
axe.
my god!
It's orc time, baby.
You wanna kill a bunch of orcs?
No, I want to be an orc. I love being an orc.
Which, oh my gosh, which anime has my partner been watching? One of the freaking isekais. It's the slime one. It's the reincarnated as a slime one, and I think he starts in orc society.
Reincarnated as a slime.
Yeah, is that the? Yeah. I think he like starts an orc or goblin or something society. They're green people, and he like
hell yeah
builds a society and levels them all up.
Oh my god, I kind of
sorry. Go ahead, Ted. The age of the orc.
No, I hadn't fleshed it out much more than that. I just love orcs and goblins.
Give me orcs.
Got these green boys in studded leather with short swords.
Oh, hell yeah,
very metal.
For me, this is where the problem comes in, right? Like, what is a replacement for zombies? Because you need something cooler than zombies that you still want to kill loads of. And I don't know what the solution is to that. Because I was like, oh, like skeletons. What about skeletons? But skeletons are kind of boring. You can't really do much with skeletons, right? You can't turn skeletons into there's no skeleton clicker. Right, you can't really do anything cool with a skeleton. They're just kind of there, but like everything else is kind of too smart. Like I originally was thinking I wanted aliens, but I don't know, like hordes of aliens, maybe.
Helldivers has their bugs. basically, kind of.
Oh, they do have bugs.
Oh,
yeah,
creepy bugs.
Oh
But I
my
feel
god, bugs is such a good one.
I don't know if the bugs have the
I hate
same
bugs, though.
mileage and like kind of like I don't know if the bugs quite go with everything in the same way that zombies do. I don't know.
Call
Yeah.
of Duty bugs mood.
Call of
Bugs
Duty bugs
are an acquired taste.
Yeah, like I don't know what you could have like hordes of that.
mean,
Again, they're like not super intelligent.
I just keep thinking it's like, well, you could do Cyberpunk 2077 and have it be the Tiger Claws and just have it built into your fiction that it is fucking Stalingrad every day on the west coast of America.
That's what you have to do otherwise, unless you have bugs or zombies or vampires, I guess. But again, vampires are too smart and too scary. You can't have horde of vampires. That's the math there doesn't work.
I Am Legend, Will Smith, the zombies are vampires. We've got another synthesis, right? Weren't they also vampires?
I don't know.
I
Yeah.
never saw that film.
It's a good one. It's very sad.
God.
The zombies are vampires. Okay. Fair enough.
Bones are their money. Molly, you were talking about skeletons. I feel like skeletons like are sometimes like RPG fodder, but like skeletons are best when they are like a little whimsical and they're like telling puns and like they unhinge their jaws and do like a little dance where they dislocate all their bones and stuff. Like that's the best use of
Skeletons are just little guys.
Yeah.
I mean, like, look at Sans. Sans is like one of the most. Mr. Sans Undertale is one of like the most beloved characters, and he's just like a little skeleton guy in a hoodie. Like that's all. He's a little whimsical, right? And everyone loves him. Yeah, I like a good whimsical skeleton, and I think I would feel bad slaying like hordes of them. And again, like if you want like a horde skeleton, they're just kind of boring, right? I feel like they're more boring than zombies because there's less you can do.
The framework is limited to the skeleton itself.
You can't put a bunch of skeletons in a mall like you can in Dead Rising. You can't put a bunch of them on well, you could put a bunch of them on an island. You could do pirates and skeletons.
That's what Sea of Thieves is. There are lots of skeletons to fight in Sea of Thieves where you are pirates, and they are animated skeletons.
I think the answer is probably going to be that we will all collectively turn inward and we will question why we crave these fantasies of slaughtering creatures that look like us.
We're never going to question
and we're going to say, why are we doing this? Why are we like this? We're better than this. We will embrace our better angels as we walk into a new day, I think is probably what comes after zombies are to ghosts.
So you're saying it's the bugs from Helldivers 2?
It's the bugs.
It's the bugs, guys. Bugs are next.
There's definitely something to be said for the fact that we opt for like more humanoid species when it comes to like what we want to kill. We're not just killing, like little moths,
RPG rats.
Yeah, little
rats
RPG
in the basement.
rats. Oh my god, mutant rats. Maybe like mutant animals are the evolution of zombies because they share similar traits, right? But you could like mix it up. You could have mutant animals that were very slow and very easy to kill, and then you could have like disgustingly quick, scary mutant animals. Maybe you need the humanoid aspect for it to be perceived as a threat though, right? Because the scary thing with zombies is like, oh, if they bite me, I'm going to become one of them. Like if a mutant animal bites you, you're just dead. Like who cares about being dead? Like becoming a zombie fine. Is like, like you get mauled by like a mutant like wolf, whatever. You get bit by a zombie, that's way scarier. That's so much scarier. And maybe you need that kind of like human aspect. That's why is this scary?
Stuff like Dino Crisis like never quite worked for me. Like I was like, yeah, it's a velociraptor. All right, that's fine. I'm not that into
like next.
Oh, dinosaurs. Yeah.
I was an astronomy kid, not a dinosaur kid. So like, I'm not. This is not doing nothing for me.
I feel like we can find a way to shove aliens into the zombie shape. I recognize, Molly, that you're right about them being smart, but I feel like we could do it.
Dumb aliens exist. You shoot
There
a
were
bunch of
some
aliens
dummy
in Mass Effect, right?
Yeah, but like, aren't they people?
Yeah, they've got there's
I don't know.
the husks,
I forget.
and then like the
I've never played
little
Mass Effect,
grungly Thorian guys.
Yeah.
Maybe the
In
worst
Dragon
part of
Age,
Mass
they
Effect
are,
1.
They're darkspawn. What about okay? What about games where zombies like actually really rock? Like, what are your favorite examples of games that have
Fucking
zombies in
Plants
them?
vs. Zombies, dude.
Of
Plants
all
vs.
things, Mollie?
Zombies rules. Okay, nah. Listen, Plants vs. Zombies fucking rules. Imagine being a zombie and just going into someone's garden and then a sunflower murders you. That's cool as shit. I used to play loads of Plants vs. Zombies when I was in secondary school because this was like the coming of the iPhone, right? When like
Yes.
all of your storage was like Doodle Jump, Cut the Rope, Angry Birds,
Mhm.
Plants vs. Zombies. I played the shit out of Plants vs. Zombies. I don't know, I think again, like it's the whimsicality, right? Like the zombies in Plants vs. Zombies, they're kind of whimsical because they're cartoony. You don't
Mhm.
really see that. And like normally zombies are like kind of scary, but they're just kind of like goofy and whimsical in this game, and I kind of like that. Like it's fun. It's a good time.
Mm-hmm. Ted, do you have a favorite zombie?
Plug in Dread Delusion again, but the Resident Evil 1 remake, the one that came out on GameCube and is still somehow the best looking game ever made, that like very famously, because it's the classico, you're going back and forth across the mansion, you're doing a lot of backtracking,
Mhm.
and when you kill the zombies, the corpses remain, and if you don't destroy a zombie corpse with fire, it rises as a stronger, faster zombie with like sharp claws called a Crimson Head. So there's like a very cool like strategic resource allocation thing there that is like firmly one of the best remakes, if only because of that, because like that is like those guys are freaky, they're fast, they're nasty, the Crimson Heads, like they're all like bloody and like freakish. So that is like that immediately springs to mind. Like that is doing it really right and like making them a threat again, and it's specifically like doing violence to them, like killing them opens you up to something like far more horrific later, so you really got to think about it.
Mm-hmm. I really like Project Zomboid zombies. Speaking of survival crafting games, I got into Project Zomboid, I think, when it had like a big like multiplayer overhaul, whenever that was, in like, I don't know, 2021 or 2, something, I don't know. It was a few years ago. And those zombies are initially not super scary. They're just kind of like scattered around the map. Like they aren't going to like chase you unless you get super close. They're like a little docile initially, but they're sensitive to sound. So if you're like breaking a bunch of windows to go like loot a store, like they're gonna like shamble after and follow you. And like as they get like more and more start following you, they like turn into a horde kind of right in front of your eyes. You're like, oh no, one's chasing me down the street. And then as you're going down this suburban street with a zombie chasing you, 2 more hear this happening and they start following, and all of a sudden it like amalgamates into this horde, and it is like quite horrifying. That game is like kind of scary and spooky initially when you first start playing. And they also carry that threat of like you can get the infection or whatever it is and become zombified by like if they just like scratch you sometimes, or if they bite you. And it has a lot of settings. Like you can change how the zombie lore works in Zomboid for like whenever you start a new game or you're going to do a like multiplayer with friends, you can change like how often and where they spawn, like how fast they are, how much damage they do, like if they can only transmit zombification via biting, or if they can just scratch you and it's like via blood, and like how long they'll remember where you are, and like how well their sight and hearing works. It's just like very cool. You can do so much to tweak like how the zombies work, and I haven't done enough of that in Zomboid because I really would like to set up a match where it's like they're rare but they're fast. Like there actually aren't that many zombies, but if you see one, it's going to freaking get you.
It's scary. Yeah.
Yeah. And like instead of the horde effect, I want to try like different zombie lores in Zomboid. That one I feel like has a very cool classic zombie. Like those are very standard zombies, but I like all of the ways that you can mess with that system. It's cool.
I do have one more as well. Cool zombie I thought of.
Please share.
The original Thief game, that Looking Glass and that kind of inspired Dishonored. Everybody like received wisdom is that the undead levels missions in those games are like bad and a distraction from the stealth, but like with like some caveats, they are like really good survival horror experiences. Like there's this one mission where it's you're in an abandoned district of the city, and you are making your way slowly through this abandoned district that's infested with zombies and like crawfish people and stuff. Thief zombies are like just really good because they are sort of similar to the Crimson Heads. It's like you have to destroy them. Like you can't just like kill them normally. You need holy water to like blow them up. And that's like a really limited resource. And then Thief just has like super good sound design. So like they got the real classic zombie, like, and it like you hear it like echoing through these empty streets, like, and it's, you kind of know where they are and you can sneak around them to a certain extent. So really, they did it right. It's really good stuff.
Nice. Yeah, I think so. The bottom line is we want to be zombies and we want to have zombie culture. Give up on zombies as enemies. Try to do aliens and just let us be zombies, because that would be fun for a change.
Zombie. Zombie civilization. I can't even say that. Zombie civilization. Not the game, like just society.
Or that. Let's put zombies in Civ. Just see what happens. There's got to be like multiple mods.
The zombies have just built Angkor Wat and invented the nuclear weapon at the same time.
Oh my god!
Easier for zombies to deal with nuclear weapons. So we're gonna have a military victory for zombies in all of civilization. Great. Well, thank you, Ted, for coming on and just yammering about zombies with us, indulging my weird topic for this week. As usual, you can find all of our Mollie's, Ted's, and mine writing at pcgamer.com, and all of the rest of the team, the usual great news, reviews, guides, opinions, all that stuff on the website. And also, you'll be able to talk with Mollie and I about this week's episode at forums.pcgamer.com. Thanks, Ted, for talking about zombies.
Oh, it was a pleasure.
Bye, guys.
Bye.